Good evening and thanks for being here. I'm Jamie Weiss. We're following breaking news tonight. Fort Smith Northside High School's football program is pausing practices and canceling its scheduled game against Greenwood because of concerns related to COVID-19 exposure.
Well, you know, Craig, it's almost a little hard to hear you over all of the revving you're hearing in the background. A lot of cars, a lot of motorcycles are revving their engines. I want to step out of the way, show you. We've changed up our vantage point just a little bit. We are now on the lawn of the Benton County Courthouse.
Governor Asa Hutchinson addressed the statewide effort to get people vaccinated on this week today. He says the rollout is more challenging in Arkansas because health officials have to balance their efforts between mostly rural communities with a few large population centers.
We are putting in the hard work here in Rogers. Okay, I'm going to put these turkeys down. I am joined by Carrie with Homestead Senior Care. Thanks for joining us, Carrie. Blue Ribbon Downs in Sallisaw is one of the areas hit the hardest by these storms. I mean, just look at this debris. This is from the roof of a barn that flew from over 500 feet away.
Many of you may have thought it looked a little rainy and overcast this morning. That was actually dust. Meteorologist Martin Lauermore is here with us tonight. And Martin, we were talking about this dust cloud and it's affecting my allergies. That's pretty normal, right? Very excited to be here this morning, Paul, because we've been talking about this snow all morning long. As a Syracuse grad, I love to see it. Well, the winter weather has changed some school plans. As of right now, Huntsville and Elkin schools have both transitioned to virtual learning for today, while Jasper and Kingston schools are closed for the day. To get all the latest updates on closures, winter weather, and much more, be sure to download the free 4029 News app, or you can check out 4029tv.com, a free way to keep an eye on your commute. We do want to get back to our coronavirus coverage nationwide. According to the COVID Tracking Project, more than 132,000 Americans are in the hospital due to COVID-19. The death toll, more than 350,000. Since the coronavirus was discovered in the U.S. back in March of last year, more than 21 million Americans have been infected with the virus. CDC officials say a variant of the virus first found in the UK has infected at least 52 people here in the U.S. Dr. Anthony Fauci is also concerned about another version of the virus, first identified in South Africa, which may lessen the effectiveness of COVID-19 antibody treatments.
It is a little bit more complicated because some of those mutations might have a negative impact on the efficacy of some of the monoclonal antibodies that are used.
And in the CDC's latest forecast, as many as 438,000 people in the U.S. could die from COVID-19 by the end of the month. In our Commitment 2021 coverage, Democrats Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff appear to have won at their elections in Georgia. This gives control of the U.S. Senate to the Democrats. Warnock is leading incumbent Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler, while Ossoff leads incumbent Republican Senator David Perdue. The two projected winners are both making history for the Peach State. Ossoff, a former investigative reporter, will also be the youngest sitting senator and first Jewish senator from Georgia. Warnock is a former pastor for a historic black church. Well, snow is falling across the area this morning. We have meteorologist Martin Lauermore in West Fork taking a look at the impacts. Martin, what's the latest out there? Well, local news continues over on the Arkansas CW.
Yes, Good Morning America starts now. See you back here in about 25 minutes for an update.
After 6 hours of negotiation, Bentonville police broke this window, all in an attempt to speed up the process to get those two people inside out.
With Bentonville police surrounding both sides of the Econo Lodge, Wayman Main and a woman were taken into custody after barricading themselves inside of a room they did not check out of. 4029 News is not identifying her until she faces charges.
We were able to have a peaceable ending, and both subjects are out of the hotel. No use of force, no loss of life, very minor property damage to the window itself. So all in all, a good resolution.
Chief Simpson says police were notified of the situation around 1 p.m. when Wayman May and the woman he was with did not pay for another night in the motel and refused to check out. May had outstanding warrants for violation of parole and now faces new charges, including criminal trespassing.
Pretty strong evidence of criminal mischief, a lot of damage to the room, fixtures torn and broken. I think it was an attempt to barricade the doors and the bathroom door. So there's quite a bit of damage in the room. So I would suspect that once we're done processing the room, that our investigators will add charges of criminal mischief just due to the damage itself to the interior of the room.
Well, Chief John Simpson says none of his officers were wearing police body cameras tonight because they don't have them yet. He says in the next couple of weeks, those will be rolled out for the entire department, and soon on any call such as this, there will be police body cameras on every officer. Reporting live in Bentonville, I'm Jamie Weiss, 4029 News.
Little Rock native William Stevens is about to turn 52, but for the past 41 years, he's been haunted by his experience in the Boy Scouts. Tonight, he shared his story with us in hopes of encouraging others to do the same and to remind them that they're not alone.
I have spent most of my life feeling like damaged goods. The one thing I've always asked myself is, when did I ever matter to scouting? And I've learned throughout this process that I and several other boys never did.
William Stevens joined Troop 16 of the Boy Scouts in 1979. According to court documents, Stevens says he was sexually abused 8 times by a scout leader in 1979 and in 1980. 4029 News is not naming the alleged abuser because he did not face charges in this case. Stevens believes his abuser is dead. Stevens did not speak about what happened until 2018 when he filed a lawsuit against the Quapaw Area Council and the Boy Scouts of America. His lawsuit made headlines.
I was told to stay quiet. And I couldn't live with myself anymore if I did so. The hardest person I had to fight with that evening was a 10-year-old little boy who was screaming at me all night in my dreams. But I say this, the thing that really brought it around for me is I was driving to work the next day because I'd taken a week of vacation, and I got pulled over by a police officer, and he ran my license, and he came up and he gave me a warning, and he thanked me for what I did, and I asked him what he meant. And he said, "Thank you for coming forward yesterday for all of us who can't."
Stevens' lawsuit, along with the lawsuits of 5 other Arkansans, were stayed in February when the Boy Scouts of America filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Now, every individual lawsuit against the Boy Scouts will be handled in bankruptcy court in Delaware.
I actually had a chance to go to Delaware during the bankruptcy proceedings, and I walked into a room of close to 50 other victims. And for the first time, I was not the odd person out in the room. And that was a very kind of a healing process that we were able to talk and shake hands, and everyone knew what the other person had pretty much been through.
While Stevens has had 2 years to start the healing process, the legal process is proving to be a longer battle.
We hope that there will be settlement offers made to all the victims to compensate them for their losses, for their horrible, horrible losses and lifetimes of suffering. But when that's going to happen, it's not yet clear.
Stevens tells me he just wants his story to make a difference.
My biggest desire are for kids who are going through it right now or who have just gone through it, to let them know that they're not alone, that it's okay to come forward, to trust the world, and that the world will take care of you. And that's why I did it.
The deadline to file an abuse claim against the Boy Scouts of America is Monday, November 16th. We do have resources available on our website. That's 4029tv.com if you or a loved one plans to file a claim in the coming days. And if you are a victim of sexual abuse and need help, you can always call the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 1-800-656-4673. I'm Jamie Weiss reporting for 4029 News.
It takes a little over 20 minutes to make one.
Face masks with a clear vinyl front. Madison County teacher Maria Goodman says she got the idea from a fellow teacher who had concerns about teaching phonics in the fall.
We don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know how long they're going to keep saying you must have a mask. So the people that are hearing impaired, they have no way of knowing what you're saying. And I'm very passionate about my teaching. And I want the kids that I get when I'm in high school, when they get to high school, I want them to be proficient readers. So, I mean, this is one small thing that I can do to help younger students become proficient readers and help the hearing impaired.
For the past 2 weeks, Goodman has been sewing mask after mask. 15 are being shipped to Houston to help hospital workers. Now she wants to help people here at home.
With your average cloth face mask, your mouth and nose are covered, making it difficult to read facial expressions. But with one of these designs, it's a lot easier, and now you can read lips.
You don't have to be a master seamstress to be able to do this. So it's just really neat to see how 2 little pieces of fabric that are 6 by 8 turns into something that could actually protect you, keep you from getting sick, keep others from getting sick.
While Goodman waits for school to resume, she'll be making masks, thinking of her students.
So this is up here, it's ready to be sold.
In Madison County, Jamie Weiss, 4029 News.